I go through a few things using our website, because then when you're done and you have questions, you're like, oh, I don't remember what she said about that, then you'll know where to go and find it on our website, because typically anything I say in a PowerPoint is also on our website. So I'm going to start at the top over here with About Us and this strategic planning, because I think one thing that students may or not may realize is when you participate, you guys can all hear me if I don't stand right behind that, right? So when you participate in recreation, there's a few things that directly tie into your well-being. So we know that physical activity is good for us, right? We know that when we get the right amounts of physical activity, we sleep better, we focus better, it helps our cognition, it helps a lot of things, both physiologically, mentally, and intellectually. So that data specific to UIC students is on this page. And actually I just pulled the numbers through February, and we're actually up to 64% of students have at least swiped into our facility once since July 1. So it's a little higher than that number right now. But we also know that of those students that swipe into our facilities, those that swipe in 3 times or more per week, all of them have GPAs between 3.6 and 4.0. So I'm not saying it's a cause, but there's a correlation, right? There's a correlation. Also, we are starting to look at retention data, and the retention data that we have right now that we run, we started running that, I don't know what that is, since FY22. And we're looking at first year to second year, and now we'll be looking at, because now we have enough to look between second and third year as well. But this data is specifically between first and second year, and we know that those students had a 5.7% higher retention rate than students that did not swipe into our facilities. So I think it just shows that like being active and being physically active and taking our bodies does directly connect to your academic success. And that is true nationally, but that's also proven true here at UAC as well. So I think that's kind of cool. And then you could go through our mission and vision and our values, but our mission essentially is we are a welcoming community. That's the most important thing for me, that students feel welcome in our spaces. That's number one. All of our policies, our procedures, our programs, our services go back to our mission, and I drill this in with my staff. So we are a welcoming community, and we promote active lifestyles, right? Because we know that enhances your well-being, and we contribute to student success. So everything we do falls in line with that mission. The rest of it is our assessments and things like that. So the other things that you can find under About Us is we also have sponsorships. So one of the things that we are doing to be good stewards financially is I created a foundation account, and you can make a gift online. So, and honestly, it has very little in it right now. We just started that, complete transparency. But we're working towards building like our student employees. We employ over 300 student employees throughout any given year. And so really tapping into our alumni students, and really working into building funding through our foundation account to help assist with finances. So you'll find that under there. Our policies are there, things that we're doing for sustainability. This is another one that I wanted to show you, these virtual tours. So just out of curiosity, and there's no judgment here, is there anybody that's never been to either one of our facilities? It's okay if you haven't. Great, that's awesome. One of the cool things, one of the barriers sometimes for people is just the whole intimidation factor, right, of even walking in a rec center sometimes. And so what we did is we created these Matterports, and so you can literally walk through our entire facility step by step, and you can do that for both the student recreation facility. You can do that for the sport and fitness center and the outdoor field complex, which is located on South Campus. So I'm not gonna do this because it's a hot mess, but you can see how you can literally walk through the entire spaces. And I think that lends to some comfortability, right, of kind of knowing what you're walking into. So I think that's cool. And then we'll go back over here. So facilities. What you'll find over here is just specific information about our 3 main facilities. Remember that it is one department. Our department is recreation and well-being, and we have 2 indoor facilities, and technically we have 2 outdoor facilities. But the outdoor field complex on South Campus, adjacent to athletics, but we also have our outdoor courts, which we reopened this last year. There's 3 outdoor basketball courts, there's 2 tennis courts, and 2 pickleball courts. So that will be reopening towards the end of this month. It's all weather permitting, but it's looking pretty good. So you can find facility rentals. If this is if you're looking to rent space in our facility, you can go to facility rentals, and then there's a link right here. You fill out this form, this facility rental request form. So if you're looking to rent space in our facilities, that's the first thing you do. That's very helpful. And the rest of it's self-explanatory. Under programs, so we have a lot of different programs. Aquatics, our Learn to Swim program, is our largest actually community program that we provide. So we have a lot of children that do the Learn to Swim. We do adult lessons. We do have students participate in Learn to Swim, but it's our largest community-based program. We have a climbing wall, it's free to climb. We have esports, if you didn't know, located only at the student recreation facility. So we have on the 2nd floor, adjacent to the lounge, there's an esports, and we call that the Gauntlet. The competitive gaming club actually named that. Then we have first aid courses, if you didn't know. So you can register for CPR and first aid courses. You can do that online. Through here, intramural sports. The biggest question I get is do I have to have a team? No, you do not have to have a team. You can join as a free agent, and you can get connected to a team. So that's a great way, like if you're talking to someone and they're like, I don't have any friends, I don't know how to make friends, I'm not comfortable walking up to people. Intramural sports is a great way to make those connections. If they like to play basketball or volleyball or soccer, and we have recreational leagues and competitive leagues, so you can get connected to a team and then just have fun with it. Fun fact, our vice chancellor is on a volleyball league, and she plays on Thursday nights. Although not this Thursday, because she's gonna be out of town. So it's just a fun way to it's just recreate and have fun, right? And then we have outdoor adventures. So we have, we did 2 ski trips recently in January. We have horseback riding, we have skydiving. I went skydiving for the first time last year. I know, right? I saw that. That's exactly what I thought too. I was terrified. Also, in case you didn't know, once you get over you jump out of the plane and get over that fear, the guy, he's like, oh, it's a breeze now, right? As long as you don't get motion sickness. And I was like, wait, what? Because I do get motion sickness. And I'm like, I kind of have that. And then he was like, trying to talk me through it so that I didn't throw up on the way down. So it's not just jumping out of the plane. If you have motion sickness, this is your heads up that could be a thing too, because I was not mentally prepared for that. But I'm glad I did it. I don't need to do it again. Special events, you guys know them, Rec Fest, Rec Live. So Rec Fest is always in August, it's our Week of Welcome event. Rec Live is always in January. And then we have Distress Fest coming up. It will be at the Sport and Fitness Center. So random ones spread out throughout the year, but they're always listed there. Sport clubs. You guys know the difference between intramurals and clubs? Somebody tell me. What's the difference? Yes.
Yeah, I think for clubs we have to make tryouts, and we have like teams of people who did these tryouts. Yeah, for intramurals we can just choose any team.
That is true. What else?
Don't clubs play against other schools?
Yes, so clubs are extramural, intramurals is intramural. So you play with UI students in intramurals, clubs is extramural. You play against other teams and other schools. Yes. And there could be fees associated with depending on what club you're in, right? And you can create a club. If there's, if you have 3 or more people and you want to create a club, all clubs are also registered student orgs first, and then they can be a sport club. And then sports training, sports-specific training. So we have, think like pickleball instruction or tennis instruction, things like that. Team challenge we offer. Our virtual community is relatively small. We need to develop it. It was pretty good in 2020. But we do have a YouTube channel. There are workouts on there. We do, however, have virtual personal training. So that is something that we definitely do offer. And then youth programs. All right, fitness and wellness, going quickly. Exercise is medicine. I want to touch on that just a little bit, in case you didn't know. So one of the cool things about exercise is medicine, has anybody never heard of that? Raise your hand if you've never heard of it. Okay, cool. All right, so exercise is medicine was originally started by the American College of Sports Medicine and the American Medical Association, and it is designed for healthcare practitioners to provide referrals to patients to fitness facilities. Okay, that's like the bread and butter of it, is the referral piece. Well, on campus, they realize on college campuses, it's like this microcosm of everything you need. You have healthcare providers, you have counselors, you have fitness centers, you have trainers, you have everything embedded in this little community to provide all of this. So they added exercise as medicine on campus. I started the committee in 2018. It has representatives from University Health Services, the Department of Kinesiology and Nutrition, and our department collectively. And we focus on 3 different arms. Education. So education is really held by the Department of Kinesiology and Nutrition. They have student ambassadors, and Vered Arbel heads that up, along with Kirsten Strong. And depending, like it ebbs and flows, right, depending on how many ambassadors they have, but they provide lectures in first-year seminar classes about physical activity and nutrition. And they have a social media engagement. And then we have engagement, which we provide. So we have fitness classes, which you pay for, but these classes are always free under Exercise is Medicine. So Exercise is Medicine will always have some classes that are free, scattered out throughout the week, the month, right, that are included in that. The other piece is the referral piece. So the referral piece is, if you get a referral from your PCP, your primary care physician, most of you go to family medicine, but you can go to any PCP. If you go to family medicine through Epic, which is the electronic records, they can provide what is called an ambulatory referral to recreation. If you bring that to the Fitwell Center, you can get a free general fitness assessment and coaching conversation. But you have to have the referral to get it free. We charge for it otherwise. But if you get a referral for it, you can get that for free. So that is a program through Exercise is Medicine. There's more information about it on there. So I just wanted to mention that. Then F45. In case you didn't know, F45 is a franchise. It's a private franchise. It's a global, you guys know, yes, F45, it's a global franchise, right? So F45 has a training program where everybody in the world does that workout on that day. And it's designed for community. It's designed for team training. So UIC has an internal franchise for students that is greatly subsidized. So if you went to a private gym, there are at least 3, South Loop, Lincoln Park, and up by DePaul, there's another one. But you will pay $150 to $180 a month, per month, for your membership. And here, you'll pay $125 for the entire semester for your membership. And if you do that, you also get group fitness classes with it. So we initiated a fee for fitness classes this last year, and people say, why? Why did you do that? So what we did is, we used to have like drop-in fitness, and those were all taught by students. Then we had group fitness like Zumba and yoga and mat Pilates and bachata and salsa, like classes like that were taught by some professional instructors, but there were like pretty high fees associated with that. And then we had instructional. So what we did, we combined those, reduced the fee significantly so that more people paid a really small amount to cover a huge range. So the Fitness Pass includes yoga now, it includes mat Pilates, and it includes like classes that you typically paid a lot more for. So basically we just spread it out, so there was a smaller fee that let more people pay. Does that make sense? To make it more affordable for everybody. And then we still have instructional programs. But if you do F45, you get it all. That was kind of long-winded, but you get it, right? You followed that. The Fitness Centers are a hub for personal training, massage therapy, fitness testing. We have it, and you can get that done on both sides. Even though the hub or the center is at the surf, we still do fitness testing, personal training, and massage therapy at the Sport and Fitness Center. And then membership. So if you're all members, that's the question I get. They're a senior, like I didn't know I was a member. So you pay the service fee, and that is your membership. So you already are a member, so use it. What questions do you have for me? What do you want to know? Yes?
Where is the center again?
So we have 2 indoor facilities. One of them is across the street, the student recreation facility, and they named it that way intentionally so that people would call it the SURF. SRF, but that is directly across the street, 737 South Halsted. We also have a smaller facility, which, by the way, fun fact, their 20-year anniversary of the surf is this year. So we'll be doing a 20-year celebration thing for the surf. I can't believe it's been that long. The 20-year for the Sport and Fitness Center, located at 828 South Walcott in the Medical West Side. Their 20-year was actually last year. And then Outdoor Field Complex is connected to athletics, Grandison Stadium area. So there are 3 main facilities. But it's one department. People think they're different departments. It's one department, multiple facilities. Great question. What else? Yes?
Where within SRF is the Fitwell Center? And then how would you recommend getting started with the exercises medicine program?
Yes. Okay, so when you walk in, as soon as you walk in past control, it's directly in front of you on the first floor. And there's a big sign, so you won't miss it. You'll basically walk in the front door, swipe in, and go straight. So that's where the Fitwell Center is. And then for exercises medicine, there's a couple things. If you want to just go to a class, if you don't have a pass, if you don't have an F45 or a fitness pass, you can still go to all of those classes. All you do for that is you can show up. Ideally, we like you to register, and we have an app, and I didn't go through all of that, but you can just go to those classes, and they'll help connect you. If you want the GFA, then when you see your PCP next, ask them. That's why, family medicine knows about it, but sometimes they don't always tell you. So that's why I'm telling you, ask for an ambulatory referral to recreation, and they can do that. So once you have that, you just bring that to the Fitwell Center, and then we'll walk you through it from there.
Okay.
Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay.
Yeah, just a quick, well, first of all, thank you for coming. I love the rec. I'm like, that's kind of my second, well, other than UIC, that's the third home. But yeah, I just want to ask if some of my friends are interested in working there, and I hear that you guys have a very like low acceptance like type of rate. That's true or not? Yeah, if you I mean that's high. I mean that's great. I just want to ask, or as anything as like student leaders or reps, is there anything we can do to get like involved more in the rec? I'm interested for sure.
So by tell me what
Yeah,
involved
like,
means.
I mean, employment or anything, just being there, like, advocating for, like, I don't know, because I love the place, I love, like, telling people to go there. Because it's really welcoming, like you said, the vibes are good, everyone's really friendly, so I definitely think more people should go. Not that you guys have that problem, everyone here goes, so. But yeah, is there anything that I can just tell people that want to, let's say, apply to work there, is it like, go to
You know what's great is that Jean's gonna talk about handshake, I'm quite sure, but, we go through handshake to do our hires and stuff like that. But it's also good, keep in mind, there are some positions that are internal that you have to move up to. So like a building manager is it's a great position for leadership. Yeah.
I've seen those.
So you have to work at membership first.
Yeah.
So, to get to be a building manager, you have to work so many semesters at membership, so that, just keep that in mind. For personal training, we have an in-house personal training class. So if you're not nationally certified, you can take that in-house class, and then you could get hired as a personal trainer. Fitness, the fitness floor, facilities ops, control, those positions, those are always on a rotating basis, and it's good to like get your foot in the door and then move around. So if you're really picky, then it might be harder, but if you're open to doing different positions, once you're in, it's easier to move around. Does that make sense?
That makes absolute sense. Thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so much.
absolutely.
I've been trying to get into Pilates, and you mentioned the mat Pilates like fitness class. So is that something like hop in or like interesting?
So we have a fitness class pass now. So you actually have to purchase a pass, and then so there's a rec app that you can download, and there's information actually. I'll share it to you after. It's not easy to get to right now because it's pushed down on our news sites, but you can download the rec app and then you just sign up for the class on the app. It's pretty simple. If you don't do that, as long as you have the pass, they can look you up and log you into the class.
And is the pass 145 or is it just that?
That's the F45 pass. The fitness pass is much cheaper than that. So let's look really quickly, see, because I don't know off the top of my head. So, perfect. Great question. Fitness passes.
It is a good question.
Fitness pass pricing. All right. So for a month, it's $20. For the entire semester, see this, I don't have my glasses on. For my group, what is that, $50?
The normal one is 20.
Yeah,
Or
so
not,
for
50.
$50, you can get a fitness pass to go for the entire semester. But if you do F45, it's a little bit more.
For F45 classes, are they like student led, or are they led by instructors who are licensed, whatnot? How does that work?
Yeah, so we internally train them. Many of them are nationally certified personal trainers, or in-house personal trainers first, and then we train them for F45 on top of that. In a perfect world, I would require it, but students don't all have a national personal training certification. So it's kind of like, because we're in an educational environment, which is also why we hire personal trainers that go through our in-house personal training, and then coach them to get their national certification. So, we do in-house training for it, to answer your question. But in an ideal world, and if you went to a private, if I ran a private club, I would only hire trainers that were nationally certified, which is pretty consistent with the industry. Good question.
Oh, hey, my name is Tommy. I really like Rec Center. I use it almost every day. So I'm just curious, do you think in the future it will be possible to replace iCard swiping method to, like, for example, change it to scan something through the Rec app? Because I think that would be really convenient for all the students.
Here's the challenge with that. So, our data comes through, like, we get it through iCard. Like, our system, we could do check-in swipes through Club Automation. We could do that if we wanted to, but we would lose our, like, for me to tell you that our users have a GPA of 3.6 to 4.0, or that our retention is 6% higher, I lose that ability when I don't use your card swipe data.
So until there's the digital ID card, which will hopefully happen in about 5 to 7 years, that's okay. But yeah.
But it's a great question, and I hear you, but for someone that's held accountable for data, then
I mean, all the decisions that risk anyone makes is based on data. iCards is the only way we get that data, and I can tell you that the Office of the Student Trustee and myself, Quinn and I, we've been fighting for that digital iCard. The top thing is just infrastructure, and I can get into it a little bit later, but it's not going to be any single department that just moves to it. We've thought about it, but it's just not cost effective. So it'll be a whole university-wide movement. So it's in the works, but you won't see any singular department or campus entity make that direction just yet.
great question though. Thanks for the support.
With that does come to our last question. So a huge round of applause for Lynn. Questions, you can always reach out to me. We'll actually be doing the Rec Student Advisory Board, so that will be in the works and stuff. So you'll hear more about that soon, as Lynn and I figure out some details with Ashley. But let's get started. One huge round of applause. Our next guest speaker is going to be the Executive Director of Career Services, who is Jean Riordan. So Jean and I have worked together a lot. She's probably tired of me from all the times I've bothered her. She's actually, so when I was a representative 2 years ago, she was actually the first administrator that I did initiative with, Spark Your Success. Was that 2.5 years ago? Wow, that was a while ago. But very excited to have Jean here. It's actually the first time that she's come to a GBM, so very excited to have her. Feel free.
Consumer choice, Microsoft account. Did you see my Angie ad? I couldn't figure it out. It was just like a bunch of boring. I thought it'd be like Minecraft.
Again, tech policy away, full attention to G. And then Jean's logging in something while she's doing that.
It was like
She's attempting.
dating.
I think I'm probably logging in as you. Oh, that worked, actually. I don't know.
Oh, it's the toys.
Yeah, no, that's okay. That's all right.
The toy we're using your account.
That's fine.
Yeah.
What's going
No, okay.
Here.
Good evening, everybody. How we doing? Do I need the mic? I'm happy to use the mic. I might go back. I come from a lot of people. A lot of like.
We could block the mic too.
I can pull it off. Okay. Well, I don't know. Oh,
I feel like that's what I'm gonna
like I'm a sing.
Hey, we could do a little bit of karaoke,
Yeah.
right?
All right, there we go, that'll work. And I might bounce back and forth a little bit. Thank you, it'll save my voice a little bit as well. Hi, so I'm not gonna really just like talk about Handshake today, if that's okay. Because I think that might bore you all, because it'll bore me to talk about Handshake for a while. But this is student government, so I'm gonna talk big picture, and I'm gonna talk high level here. And what I wanna do is share some big picture information with all of you. And I don't know how much you know about what I refer to now as the ecosystem of career support here on this campus. All right, I've been calling it an ecosystem because it is large, it is complex, it is complicated. Sometimes it works very well together, and sometimes it does not. Okay, so I am here today technically representing the Career Services Office that lives in the Division of Student Affairs. All right, so my office is located SSB, the corner of Racine and Harrison. You need a map to find us there, right? We're like in what my colleagues sometimes call Rapunzel's Tower of SSB. Like, can we hide this office a little bit more? I'm not really sure. I know that there is some discussion about potentially bringing some of us into this building, which would be really cool, because sometimes I feel like for a lot of things, like out of sight is out of mind, right? You don't see us walking through the hallway all the time. When you do, it reminds you that, hey, I really want to go to that career fair, or hey, I really need to get my resume looked at, and oh, I recognize her, she came to my class, or she came to a USG meeting and talked a little bit. So most of the time I am speaking on behalf of that office. Some of the time I am speaking on behalf of the Career Leadership Council. So the Career Leadership Council is made up of all of the other people on this campus who are also doing career services work. So, and stop me if you've heard this song before, but there is the Engineering Career Center, housed in the College of Engineering, the Business Career Center, housed in the College of Business, the Liberal Arts and Sciences Career Center, LAS Career Development and Internships in LAS. And I'm just going to be really honest with all of you. I don't know why there is a separate office in LAS, because 50% of the students that we see in our office are LAS students. So, that's another probably tangent for another day, right? But this is what I mean about the disconnectedness. If you are an LAS student right now, how many LAS students? Wow! Oh, there's so many, okay? And believe me here, now I'm gonna tell you this, I am by no means disparaging any of the staff that work in that department. Liz Herrera is the director of that office. They are amazing. I stole one of their staff members, sorry. I stole one of their staff members not too long ago to come work in our office. So they are a really great group of people. But there's 3 people for 40 gazillion LAS students, right? That doesn't really make any sense either, right? Okay. So you're gonna like, this is the unfiltered, kind of discussion here about career services on campus right now. So there's an LAS Career Center, and there's a graduate college office. But besides, there's an office in the law school. But besides that, there are individuals of some of the other colleges, not all of them, some of the other colleges for which career development work is a percentage or a fraction of their job description, right? So somebody in applied health is maybe 12% of what they do. There's 8% of somebody in the College of Nursing. There's nobody in CUPA, there's nobody in CADA, there's nobody in College of Education. So technically, if a college doesn't have anybody, we are their career services office, right? But this is confusing. I shouldn't really have to explain all of this each time we talk about career services on campus. So we pulled this group together and call it the Career Leadership Council. So what the Career Leadership Council does is tries to elevate the discussion of how we are supporting and helping you all be successful when you leave here. Because as much as UIC is your second or third home, like you were saying, it's my second home now too, right? As much as we all love being here, you're all gonna leave and you're all gonna graduate, and that's the point, right? The point is that you get a degree, you train for something to help you go out into the world, make this world a better place, contribute to the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, your communities, and ultimately make yourself a better person, right? And be productive and be happy. So that is our mission. And that is now my personal mission, to help this institution see how critical it is that all of these offices and departments work together to help you. That we don't compete, we don't steal employers from each other to have on our career fairs, you know. So the business engineering and careers in the central, we'll call it the central campus office, right? We are the three offices that do employer relations, employer development, employer management. We bring the employers to campus in the form of career fairs and other kinds of things like that, right? LAS Career does some of that as well, not to the same extent. You know, they have panels and presentations and workshops, and everybody who's doing this job on this campus is doing a good job doing this, right? Everybody's committed and everybody cares. The problem is that this institution is spending a lot of time and resources and thought leadership on getting all the students here, making sure that you all graduate. You know, UIC is the best that I've ever seen in the 30 years I've been in higher education. Six here on this campus, but 30 years in higher education. UIC helps and supports students to get to that finish line better than any place I've ever seen in my entire life. What we are falling short on is the campus conversation about how do we make sure you know what's next. So that has been sort of my mission. Everything that we've been working on, especially over the last few years, has been trying to coordinate these efforts as best we can so that we are targeting areas that are underserved, maybe a little bit too. So, you know, I think students who aren't in engineering and aren't in business look and see, well, what's for us? You know, there's a lot of engineering firms, you know, there's 1,000 students and 125 employers going to an engineering career fair. And I know that that's confusing for students who aren't in those majors, right? Some of those business, we got companies and banks and whatever here. Well, what's for us? So what, hello, did I break it? What we've been doing in the Career Services Office very intentionally is trying to get employers that for everybody else, right? Trying to look at those gaps in education employers, social services, nonprofits, employers that are open to hiring students from a huge, wide spectrum of academic backgrounds, in the arts, in humanity. Oh, sorry. I broke it. So students in the arts and humanities and other kinds of things. The UIC Illuminate internship program, which is fairly new. And I don't know if people know too much about this. I want to say it's in its infancy, but it's probably slowly going into toddlerhood right now, if I'm being honest. So UIC Illuminate was originally designed to be a dedicated internship program. So we were working in conjunction with the Chancellor's office. The Chancellor came to me and said I need an internship program. So we tried to design something that was a little bit different, a little bit special. And through a dedicated internship program, that means that we are looking for employers who are promising one or more internship positions exclusively to a UIC student. You're going to post it with us. You are only going to hire a UIC student for this position. The for-profit, so a company that's able to pay for their interns is going to pay for their intern. A company, a non-profit organization that is legitimately unable or does not have the funds, we are using some university funds to pay for those internships in the form of a grant. How many of you maybe were familiar with the Flames internship grant before? A couple of you, okay. So we really repurposed the funds from the Flames internship grant. So the Flames internship grant is you've got an unpaid internship somewhere, come to us and you can apply for one of really, we didn't have that many, about 15 a year. 15 a semester, sorry, that we were able to kind of give a small grant. So we've repurposed that, and instead we are going out and curating those opportunities and then funding them through the Illuminate program instead. I also want to talk for a few minutes about some of the events and things that we've had on campus. So we have, we have career fairs, we have a lot of that stuff, but we have another career fair coming up on March 12th. We have 70 plus employers already registered for that fair. And what you're going to see that's unique about the fairs that we have is, again, they're not just all banks, they're all engineering firms or anything like that. They are employers who hire a very diverse group of majors, and we're looking to sort of fill those gaps. We want there to be things for psychology majors. We want there to be things for a theater major. We want there to be things for, philosophy major, whatever the person might be interested in. So we work to kind of recruit those employers. So you'll see there's kind of a broader spectrum there. One of the things that we've been having a huge challenge with, though, this entire year, kind of, especially the spring semester, is attendance at events. I hear a lot of feedback from students, so bring people to campus, bring us resources, help us connect with people that we want to connect with. We had an event a couple of weeks ago. It was called Flames Connect. So what I want to tell you about Flames Connect is the branding that we are using to indicate a program where you'll be able to connect with alumni. Okay, alumni who are working, alumni across a whole diverse group of fields. For 2 years in a row, we ran a program called Flames Connect Networking Event. So did anybody go to Flames, the first one? Where you went into the room, you got pizza. I know Nathan was there. And yeah, we had,
Was it 2 years ago?
we did the last 2 falls.
Okay.
Okay, so we had pizza, and you walk in, and you literally sit down at a table with an alum who is so happy to be there because they want to talk to you. I mean, they have advice, they have mentoring. Some of them have jobs, that internships and things like that, and they're here because they want to talk to you about what they do, and they want to help you be successful. So we had about 30 alums that first year, we had like 40 or 50 alums the second year, and we had about 125 students, 150 students come through, which sounds like a fairly successful event. But from my perspective, there are 30,000 of you out there. And so there's a lot of students not taking advantage of these things. So we decided to do installment number 2 of the Flames Connect series. So installment, or like iteration number 2 is Flames Connect Industry Insights. So we had 6 concurrent panels happening at the same time, different fields. So there was like a business, there was an engineering, there was like a arts and nonprofit, and education, there was a whole bunch of different ones. And we had about 4 or 5 alums scheduled for each panel, 3 to 5 alums scheduled for each panel. And guys, it was crickets. We really had a low turnout for that. I had 6, Nathan was there. I had 6 groups of alumni, 6 groups in upstairs, or no, whatever, over in the alumni room. I just, we had about 6 to 10, not even, well, some of them were a little bit, the health one.
It was like, it was on the low end. It was
It
an
was- yeah.
opportunity to engage with alumni, get some
Yeah.
really good feedback. And here's the thing, I was learning stuff, even though being here, I attend almost every single career event, and I promise you, you learn things at every single event that
Yeah.
you attend.
And the alums are so great. They are so happy to be here. So I throw that out there as just a call for help, an opportunity to give some feedback to us about the kinds of programming that we're having, and the kinds of things that we're doing. I think we're all trying to strike that balance between, you don't really want to sit through another virtual workshop. It's a lot. You don't want a lot of talking head stuff either. I'm sure nobody wants to sit through another resume workshop. And so how can we make sure that we're fulfilling our mission of making sure that you have access to the resources and opportunities you need? Because it isn't just about employers coming to a career fair. It isn't just about who's posting on Handshake, although a lot of companies are posting on Handshake. And the good news is I know you're engaging with Handshake because I can see the data, I can see the numbers. We are one of the highest schools in the Chicago area in terms of our Handshake engagement. You guys are kind of rocketing in there. But in a tough job economy, in a difficult, challenging workplace, landscape that we're kind of in right now, that's not enough. It's just not enough. So bringing people that you can connect with one-on-one is really, really critical. So I guess I put that out there to say, we don't want to do things that nobody comes to. And if we're doing some things that you don't find value in, or you think students are not finding value in, these are the kinds of things that we do need to know. So yeah, is there a question back here? Sure.
I think part of it is that, at least for me, it's there's a lot of websites that have different types of events. So for the event we were talking about, I know me and my friends would have been interested in it if we didn't know that it was there, but it's just kind of hard to, since there's so many websites and all that,
Right.
to even figure out where the events are.
And we send a lot of emails out about this. I'm going to be really honest. You get a lot of emails from us. And I do understand that those start to become like white noise, right? Because there's all sorts of emails going out. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned, it's a really good point about the whole website thing, because one of the things that we are working on right now, no one has seen this yet. This is brand new, okay? It's not necessarily ready. Apparently it's live, which I didn't really know. Oh, okay, that's all right. But what we're trying to do is create a space where all of this career information lives in one hub. You know, Handshake sort of functions like that. It does. But this also pulls Handshake into the mix. This pulls UIC Connected, the alumni mentoring database that, does anyone know about that? A little bit? UIC Connected? Kind of sort. Well, Nathan does. Okay, a little bit. So that's the site that you can go into. It's kind of like a LinkedIn for UIC. No? Yes? Maybe? No, see? Nobody knows about this stuff. So we're trying to pull all this stuff into one hub. So ideally, oh, and in addition, there's also no central place on this campus where all, like, career information lives. You know, where you can go in and access articles, access website, job searching sites. You know, our site doesn't even have it. And I'll tell you, the other career centers websites don't have a lot of it either. It's a lot of, oh, here we are and this is what we're doing. But there's no place where we can suggest to you, oh, okay, so you're a communications major. Let's suggest some sites that you can go to do a little more research and find actual job opportunities outside of things like, you know, Indeed and Handshake and whatever. I can't think of any of it off the top of my head. Okay. So this is, again, not done yet, but this one is going to have a place where you can come in as a student, you know, undergrad status, graduate status, alumni. There will be different resources for different affinities and identities, career resources, and some of this information already lives on a lot of our websites, but nobody knows it's there. So we're pulling it all together. There's some, you can go right to creating a resume, preparing an interview, and you can go to finding your career center or college. So these are all of the, oh, there's graduate colleges on their choice. These are all technically the career centers on campus, and then there's the colleges. So we have colleges that don't have career centers, but they still have some career information that they want to share as well. Okay, so as a student, there's lots of different ways that you can sort of come into this. And there's a whole Explore Career Paths area, which again doesn't really live comprehensively anywhere here at the institution. So we're working on this. We're working for a late March, early April rollout. I know that seems weird. It just takes a long time to pull this information together and to try to make sure that it's we don't want anything to be confusing because we think it's already confusing because it's in lots of spaces. And Handshake, again, Handshake will feed. So let's say you are arts and communication and media. That's something, and I'm sorry, I see you have a question. Give me 1 second. You'll be able to look at upcoming events. And then you'll be able to look at featured jobs. And it's going to pull things directly from Handshake as they relate to the page and the topic that you're on. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you guys do this, but when alumni come or individuals come to speak, do you offer, like, in the emails, like, descriptions of who exactly will be attending? Because I feel like as a student, if I knew a little bit more about who it was that I was going to be speaking to, it would kind of take away that variability factor or the bias that a lot of students might have.
Yes, we do that.
Okay, that answers my question.
It doesn't seem to work because people have to read the email. I mean, and I'm not being facetious here. It's I think we're struggling with that right now. Like, we did an event today that we had a great panel, and there were like 30 students that came to the panel. As part of the program, this organization that came in to talk about designing your life, designing your career, they were great, they were awesome. They also brought somebody to do free headshots for students. So we had a number of students who walked in and were like, oh, I'm here for my headshot. I'm like, no, it's part of the program. Like, you got to go to the program, and then the headshot's right after. And people looked at me like, what? Like, and it's not, I mean, they just didn't read. They just didn't sort of read the whole thing. And again, I know how inundated you all are with emails. I was just on vacation for a week. I am never going to get through these emails this week. And some of it is critical stuff and some of it isn't, you know, and you have to kind of sort of filter through that. What we're hoping here is to create a hub that you can go to find out anything that's going on. You can still go to Handshake, and this is going to lead you to Handshake. So you see an event that it's of interest to you, you can click on it, it's still going to take you right to Handshake for all that information. We're not getting rid of any of those systems because it can't replace most of those systems, you know. We had Standout. Did anyone use Standout, the interview software? Right? No, don't use that either. Okay, that's great. No, I'm just kidding. So, but again, if it was on the hub, you might have seen it and been able to use it. Now, Standout, for some reason, is going out of business. And so now we have to find a new vendor, so we're working on that. But again, that sort of, where can you access information? Where can you know, Standout was a 24/7 kind of thing. So if you had an interview the next day, you could get on at 2 o'clock in the morning and practice some questions and then you feel better. So, you know, again, we have a lot of this stuff going on, but yes, I think there is a communication breakdown and because everybody's just so inundated with stuff. So it's either a marketing communication kind of issue or we're looking at that maybe this isn't what students are looking for. So I think those are the questions that we're all continuing to ask those of us who provide this kind of support on campus. Nathan's going to be setting up a little bit of a roundtable where myself and the directors of the other career centers are going to, you know, sort of have a little bit of an open forum-ish kind of a thing that, you know, you can ask some questions or students who want to give some feedback, and because we need that. We need that each year because things change so rapidly. The one thing we do know, though, is like I said, and when we're heading into, sometimes they're a little bit more challenging for students, you know. It isn't about just applying for jobs and applying for jobs and applying for jobs anymore. It's about a multi-year process, really, that helps you begin to build contacts, build a network, and, you know, start to figure out what that life is going to look like for you. You know, what do you want that post-graduation like to be? What are your work values? What kinds of problems do you want to solve? What kinds of contributions do you want to make? So I'm going to stop talking. Sorry. That was my soapbox. I'll get down off of it right now. And I appreciate an opportunity to, because again, you're the undergraduate student government. You're the leaders of this campus. You should know where those barriers are a little bit to us being able to support all of you. What are the challenges that sort of we're having? And then I'm asking for your help in terms of to be partners in that process with us as much as possible. Yeah.
Yeah, so I know that for students, the really popular issue is that getting internships is really difficult for them as they have like weak profile in the beginning of their way. So are you willing to support such students with some additional opportunities to improve first their resumes before all of these internships and jobs?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're talking about like at the beginning of the recruiting season and stuff. Okay, so at the last couple of years, at the beginning of every recruiting season, we've had something called Spark Your Success. And Spark Your Success is the one that Nathan was talking about. So Spark Your Success, we pull every career advisor we can find on this campus, and we put them in a room, and we let students run through all day. You can get headshots, you can get your resume reviewed, you can practice your pitch. We give on-the-spot advice for students in that venue. We also do it at the end of the year. So there's one, it's called Summer Success Expo. So the Summer Success Expo is April, I don't know, 6th, 7th. It's a single digit in April, the first week. And Summer Success Expo is a combination of that, like that on-the-spot advising. If you haven't found anything yet, like how do we help you get it jump-started? We're also going to have a number of other resources and employers at that event. So it's kind of a hybrid. Get some help, network, and meet with some employers as well. The rest of the year, we have appointments and walk-ins and workshops all semester long that are sort of meant to help get you in the right spot for that. What's your major?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineering, okay. So, so here's how things have been set up the last couple of years. The Engineering Career Center and the Business Career Center have asked that their students access appointments in those centers exclusively, okay? So if you're an engineering student or a business student, you go into Handshake, and you want to make an appointment with somebody in career services, the central office, it isn't going to let you do that. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't email the career services email and say, I'd like to make an appointment, can someone arrange that? We will do that. But that was on request of the engineering and the business career centers. So again, I don't want to speak on behalf of them, but I know that they have less staff than we do. I know that, but they also do run resume kinds of thing. They also have appointments and they also have walk-ins. Now, as an engineering or business student, you can visit one of our walk-ins. You don't need to make an appointment for that. So we have virtual ones, I think on Thursdays, and in-person ones on Wednesdays. You're welcome to come to that, and we're more than happy to help you. So I don't want you to think that like we won't see students from those two colleges, but they have asked that you guys pass through there first. But again, you can email us, and we're more than happy to make that.
So thank you so much.
Make that appointment. Yes. So your answer, it was a really long answer to a short question. Yes, we do.
Better board question. Jay will be our last question.
I remember that you mentioned about Flames Connect. I was wondering for that, for the system, are you allowed to directly connect with the alumni, or is it more so where it's telling you alumni are coming soon for an event?
So there's two things. I think there might be two things you're talking about here. So the Flames Connect programming is we're bringing them here, and you would have to come to the program to interact with them. That said, let's say there was an event and it was like, oh shoot, you know what? I had a class run over, I got sick, so I couldn't come to that event. If there's someone that you saw was going to be at something that you want to connect with, students can email careerservices@uic.edu and say that. Like, hey, there was somebody I really wanted to talk to. I didn't get a chance. Could I be connected with that person? And I've not had an alum say no to that yet. And generally speaking, we try to ask them ahead of time, like, is it okay, can we share at least an email address with an alum that maybe didn't get to make it to the event? So there's that. Now the UIC Connected is a platform that you can go in just as you would with LinkedIn. And it's a single sign-on, all students can get in, no problem. And then you can sort of peruse that system and reach out to people that you can connect with directly. And you would do that for purposes of sort of informational interviewing, information gathering. You see, like maybe you're looking at an internship at a particular organization and you're reaching out to some alum who currently work there, maybe for some advice, on what would be the best way to, tailor my application, or do you have some advice for me on how I can sort of gain a little bit of a competitive edge there? Does that make sense? So there's kind of two venues. We're working really hard to engage alumni because, A, they're awesome and they want to be helpful, and B, we call them and they show up. Like there's no question, and they give good advice, and again, they want to be helpful. There's a community here. It's a huge community here at UIC, but there is a community here. And it's very, very strong. So we felt like that had been untapped for a long time. So that's why we're making a big deal about bringing alumni back to campus for career development purposes. A whole lot of them. And the majority of them are here in the Chicago area. I mean, constantly when I tell people I'm wearing some of my UIC gear out in the wild, my daughter went there, I went there, my husband and I literally were out having drinks one night, and my husband was wearing one of his UIC hoodies, and we just made friends with this couple, and their son goes to school here, and I had a business card with me. I'm like, tell them to reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So I mean, it's strong. It's a strong alumni base. It's a strong community.
Moral of the story is wear your UIC merch or your USG merch.
Yeah, great networking opportunities there.
Round of applause. If you have more questions for Jean, you can always reach out to her, or you can let me know. Jean and I are in frequent contact, so we're happy to relay any information back to you. 3 bills, I think 4 or 5 new bills. Let's get through them. The doorway, take it away.
Oh, it's my water. I think. I think he's leaving. I don't remember.
Okay, hello